Hi, everyone. Welcome to the first episode of the Ascribe podcast. In this podcast, we are going to talk about market research, our company, and of course, coding. I'm Gustav. I'm the managing director here at EMEA at Ascribe. And with me, I have my dear colleague and partner in crime, Chrissy Stevens, VP of Services. But before I introduce myself or Chrissy in more detail, let's talk about our company. Ascribe was founded in '99 in Cincinnati, US, where we still are today. It was founded as a software provider to the market research industry with the goal of bringing coding of open-ended comments online, but also allowing multiple people to work on the same project to increase both speed and accuracy. Fast forward to 2023, we now serve around 75% of the top 50 market research companies in the world. Through our platform, we process over 300 million open-ended comments. And even though Ascribe started with the market research industry, today we have a client portfolio that consists of brands, NGOs, universities, and many more. So back to me. As I said, I'm the managing director at EMEA here. I'm based out of Hamburg. I'm originally from Sweden, and I've spent around 15 years in the market research industry. I used to be a client of Ascribe up until 4 years ago when I started to consider switching sides. And now over to Chrissy. Chrissy founded Ascribe. I'm not allowed to mention any years here, but a long time ago, she founded Ascribe Services, which is the coding department of Ascribe. So Chrissy, over to you.
Well, thank you, Gustav. Yeah, very nice introduction. I would just elaborate. My colleague here is very cultured, brilliant, speaks 5 languages, and he's just a delight to work with. So he brings a new and different flair to our company, and it's just great to work with him. I've been in coding for almost project management in coding for almost 30 years. I'll say that, Gustav, and have evolved. We have evolved the evolution of coding. We've evolved it from these paper and pencil days to machine. We've advanced careers of coders. We're subject matter specialists. Everything we do is about text and how to gain deeper insight into data and help our customers evolve their services or products. So the service team is an extension of many operations. We are either their coding department or we help supplement when they have overflow work. So we get really excited when we talk about text analytics and anything related to coding, because that can be coding can be that little department that's sometimes forgotten, but it's extremely important. And so we like to feel important, and we feel like we've taken that from paper and pencil to machine and advancing careers. I think it's extremely important that we mention that.
So you've heard both me and Chrissy talking now about coding. And when I first was introduced to coding, I of course Googled it. And if you Google coding, you're not going to find the type of coding that Chrissy and I are talking about. Whenever we look for new people to add to our team, we've sort of stopped using the term coding because we end up getting a bunch of programmers. Coding, the way Chris and I talk about it, is taking responses from any kind of survey, if it's political, FMCG, medical, whatever, and breaking these responses into code so that we can analyze that later on. So we have 34% says the price is good and 42% doesn't like the pink package color and so on. Am I missing something here, Chrissy?
No, you're absolutely right. It's giving meaning to words in a way that you can process it faster. And it actually, you touch on a point, Gustav, that sort of is missed in coding. Because we make that part easier, it's much easier downstream, and Ascribe specifically offers more data integration with other departments, their analysts, the DP folks. So we are all about coding. However, that integration and downstream reporting is really what they want to try to get at. And we feel like we're really good at delivering on that. So rather than reading 200 lines of text and trying to figure out what's in here, we organize it in a way that makes it very easy to use, very quick insights. And we're going to talk more about that in future podcasts. We're going to talk about some AI tools, maybe some scripting and data integration, reporting and dashboards. So I feel like we're going to expand more than just coding. So that's what I would.
Oh, that's what we do normally, I would say, when we talk. We have one topic and then it goes.
It's true.
I mean, one thing that I need to correct Chrissy, and when I 4 years ago I took a plane ride to the US to meet my new employer, and coming from Europe, especially Sweden, you have all of these ideas about how Americans can be, and Chrissy said we're pretty good at coding. That's not very American, the way I thought I knew Americans. I consider us to be the best. We are definitely the original when it comes to how to process coding. We support over 2,500 different exports. There is nothing Chrissy and I have not coded, I would say. I mean, that's going to be definitely a separate episode of the podcast when we talk about the weirdest and the most fun studies we've done.
With some editing, right?
Maybe some editing. We've already asked for permission what we can talk about and not. And in general, this podcast today, this is just, we talked about it as a trailer or pilot. This is just to say hello, to talk about what's coming. In the future, we're also planning on obviously inviting some colleagues. In Ascribe, our VP of development, his girlfriend asked him last year, what kind of people work at Ascribe? And he says, there is no such thing, because everyone is so unique, that has a special skill set. There is no Ascribe type, which is why I really love working here.
That's such a true statement, Gustav, right? We all have very unique strengths, and put them together, and it's just we're pretty dynamic in great company. Yeah.
Oh yeah, and not only our colleagues as well. I mean, we also have our clients working with, what is it, 57 countries on a daily basis,
Yes.
something like that.
Mm-hmm.
We have clients with different needs, different requests, wishes, and so on. To go back, and we are jumping. This is how this podcast is going to be with Chris and I. We might jump back and forth a little bit, but it works well. Okay. Ascribe being a software company providing the leading software when it comes to coding. Whenever I present the company to new or existing clients, or Chrissy does as well, being the #1 coding platform in the world, my belief is the reason why we are that is we are not only selling a software. We love our software, we like selling it, and we have great success doing it, but we are also using it ourselves. And that's where Chris and I mainly come in.
That's right, Gustav. If I could say, that is such a great point. We help make the software, we develop the software, we have direct contact with the developers, so they have our insight. This is how coders, not just us, but coders across the world would use this. And so I think that's what makes our software very unique and distinct and the best in the world. I mean, I've been in coding and in market research a really long time, and I have not seen another piece of software that is better than this, not just in traditional coding, but also in AI. That's another subject we're going to talk about in the future. So I feel like we're always on the forefront of that, and we're always cutting edge innovation, not just in the software, but let's talk about the service for a minute. Different ways to think about how to process coding. I come from those paper and pencil days where loads and loads of of paper would be on your desk, and these numbering machines and these duplicate codes, and anyone that's in MR is going to understand what I'm talking about. But that's all changed. And I think Gustav adds, that's his flair, in my opinion, of this different ways to think about how to process in the modern world. Back in the old days.
I'm not that young.
No, but I think you give a different, when you're in Ascribe so much, it quickly becomes your favorite piece of go-to software. And sometimes that flair of how to use the software in a different way, I think you add that unique perspective. So.
But it's also very easy. I mean, we have our 24/7 support team. When I was a client, whatever I needed, I just dropped an email. And I mean, being a client, you think, oh yeah, this is just customer service people writing, yeah, thank you so much for your feedback. A month later, that was implemented into the software. So even though Chris and I, we have wishes, and some of them are apparently impossible to make, but we try. All of our clients as well are invited once a month to a user group where we, of course, share what's new, where we answer question, or our training team does. And everyone has the right to give us input. We try to customize it, which is why we have 2,500 exports, because everyone wants something different. But yeah, we are going to talk about that too. Also our favorite exports. That sounded really boring if you're not from the industry. And as Chris said, we, of course, our newest baby, the AI coder, how we here at Ascribe leverage not only artificial intelligence, but also generative AI. That is going to be a long episode, probably. On top of that, as we said, we will invite most of our colleagues, we would say, but also clients. We work very closely with our clients. Chris and I, or not only us, most people in the company don't refer to them as clients anymore. It's friends. We've known them for 10, 15, 20 years. We get birthday cards. We send retirement gifts, etc., etc.
Gustav, you're touching on a point, though. It's also our customer service and support, not just in our service team, but out at the product side. They're so good at just making the customer feel comfortable. If there's a problem, they're going to solve it. They're never going to leave. The service team will never leave a customer stuck with, well, what do I do now? If there's AI produces X number of codes and they need to get it down to 5, we're going to help you do that. We're never going to leave you. So I think our customer support, in a future episode, we'll talk more about them. They're excellent at just making customers feel not just like a customer, but there's someone here that's really concerned and caring for you. So yeah, it speaks a lot to how long the tenure of our customers and their willingness to stay with us.
Oh yeah. Oh, actually, you made me think that that's going to be easy to label the different episodes. We're gonna have Ascribe podcast customer service.
Yes.
Ascribe So this is how we operate. We think out loud.
And of course, I'm going to take a note about that. Right? We're taking notes too. I'm the note keeper, so.
And the first time Chrissy took notes in a meeting that we had with a client, and then she sent me the notes, and I was like, it was like being back in this meeting. Chrissy does a lot of things extremely well, but reading these notes, it was like pressing play. Beautiful thing.
Awesome. Thank you.
And we have different strengths.
Yes.
We have a lot of similar strengths, but also some different ones, and we have found a way to combine those.
We have fun. We have good fun together, right?
Oh yeah, and hopefully we will have you in Europe soon.
Yes.
On that note, this was the first pilot. Chris and I, we decided not to do script because it feels a bit salesman-like, and we don't like that. If anyone has any questions, if anyone has any ideas, if you want to be on our podcast, just reach out to us, me or Chrissy, on LinkedIn or at our first name.last name at goascribe.com. If you want to find out more about the company, visit goascribe.com. And we look forward to seeing you all again very soon.
Yes.
Chrissy, do you want to end with a nice catchphrase or something like that?
Oh gosh, Gustav, you're putting me on the spot here. No, I would just say we're excited to launch this this podcast, and hopefully it gets people excited about text analytics. Really, yeah.
And Chris and I were told not to say that coding is mundane or boring, so we haven't done that in this podcast. But we will try to show that there are fun parts of our lives as well. Bye, everyone. Thank you so much for listening or watching. Those of you who did, we look forward to seeing you again. Have a good day. Bye.
Bye-bye.